minutes to the guys that you can trust? What's the coach's perspective?
I would say that with all the experience on the bench, you have to go with the feel. You try one thing, you try the other, and you make a quick decision. You have to react, Liam. This is a one-game scenario, and both coaches mentioned that. This is not a playoff series. We don't have time to gather ourselves, analyze. We have to react immediately.
Well, finally, we are just moments away from tipping it off here in the 24th edition of the modern EuroLeague. The players will wish each other the best of luck. It's Fenerbahce in their classic blue and yellow uniforms, and Panathinaikos, six-star Panathinaikos in the green. We'll see how the players will respond to that delay as we get ready to tip it off in just a moment.
Let me just finish with the thought from Coach Jasikevičius. He said it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be a great game, but let's win this one. That's what I think everybody on the court, on the benches, and in the stands is thinking right now.
In the words of the great Al Davies, the former owner of the Oakland Raiders, just win, baby. Well, we'll see who's going to win this one. 40 minutes to decide it. 2017 champions Fenerbahce, whose faithful fans have made their way to the arena. You can probably hear their voices that are filling this arena now. And Panathinaikos trying to add their 7th title. It's 40 minutes to get to the finals. And we just got one more delay. You really feel for the players as we make sure that everything is right with the official bench. And you can see now the fans have finally made their way into this arena. We were here in 2016, the last time the Final Four was in the German capital. Plenty of yellow and plenty of green in the stands here in the Uber Arena.
And what a game that was between Fenerbahce and CSKA Moscow. One for the ages, won by CSKA Moscow.
Well, the referee steps into the center circle, and we are underway. First possession to Fenerbahce in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. This is the continent of Europe's premier basketball competition. Panathinaikos start in man-to-man defense, and the ball's back into the hands of Calathes with the shot clock running down. Wilbekin bottled up in the corner by Grant. Wilbekin's got to make something happen as the shot clock is running down. He's dispossessed by Jerian Grant. Good defensive stand by Panathinaikos.
Jerian Grant with quick hands. He averages he's number 3 steal per steals in the competition. That's, you saw exactly why.
Early touch to Lessort. Does he get away with the travel?
That was a good defense there by Jonathan Motley. He just stood his ground with his hands straight up and made it difficult for Lessort to finish that shot in the paint.
Each team with a possession, neither team with a score.
All right, but that's typical for the first semifinal players. They need to settle down.
Hayes Davis curls around a high screen, can't knock down a 3, and a clean look at it, but another empty possession for Fenerbahce.
That was a great box out there by Dino Mitoglu. You finish strong defense with the box out.
Grant gets to the elbow, kicks. Papapetru has a long look at Lessort, and back into the hands of Jerian Grant. Mitalu with a long 3, and that's off the mark. Long pass ahead by Calathes. Broken up on a good defensive play by Papapetru. Both teams, George, digging in defensively. Nunn lets fly with a 3, and he strings it. And we've got the first score in tonight's semifinal.
And he is picking up exactly where he left off in the playoffs. Kendrick Nunn, just absolutely spectacular in the first basket of this Final Four.
Back to Wilbekin. Wilbekin gets to the halo. Extra pass to Calathes. Show and go by Calathes. His runner won't fall.
A bit quick shot there by Nick Calathes, but he had a great look at the basket, so he absolutely had to take that shot.
You can see Coach Ataman on the sideline, George. He's got his sneakers on like you do. Looks like he wants to get onto the floor.
Well, I mean, if you made me put my dress shoes on, Liam, my knees will be severely swollen at the moment, so no dress shoes for me. Here you see the first shot by Kendrick Nunn. Nothing but the bottom of the net by the sharpshooter of Panathinaikos Athens.
First season in the EuroLeague. Kendrick Nunn selected for the All EuroLeague first team. Here's Papapetru. gets to the paint. His baby jump shot is good.
And he is playing with a lot of composure. I think he is feeling the most comfortable I've seen him in the whole season right now in Panathinaikos jersey.
Played last year with Partizan. Back to Panathinaikos. He's also played for Olympiacos. And a turnover here. Calathes is usually very steady with the basketball in his hands. He protests.
And that's a tough start there for Calathes. 2 turnovers and a missed shot.
Well, look at that. 3 turnovers at this stage of the competition. Maybe some nerves. Look at Hayes Davis. There's your leading scorer getting on the deck after a loose ball. He can't come up with it. Extra pass to Grant, who lets fly. Got it.
That's perfect execution right there. Circulation of the ball, not sticking to the hands of the Panathinaikos players. Quick shot there, and another 3-pointer. 8-point lead, 8-0. Panathinaikos lead early on.
Yeah, good spacing, extra pass to Grant. Now, can Fenerbahce get something this trip down the floor? Look at the defensive intensity of Panathinaikos. Pierre lines up a 3. That's in and out. And Mitoglu with another example of textbook blocking out.
And it's number 7 rebounder in the competition, Dino Mitoglu, doing what he does best. His tenacity on defensive rebound has been very valuable for Panathinaikos. One remark here, Liam, for you. We said that Fenerbahce cannot allow a slow start to the game. They have trailed at halftime. And this is unbelievable stats to me. In 23 of 39 games this season.
Yeah. They've trailed, and did they lose those games?
Well, they have come out on a lot of them, but this is a situation that you don't want to put yourself in a one-game scenario. This is exactly what you don't want to do.
Well, as Coach Jesse Chavakis goes to the bench, he brings in Sadler for Jonathan Motley. Here's Grant on the left hand. Mid-range jump shot is good. It's a 10-0 score for Panathinaikos. If Fenerbahce don't come up with something here this possession, look for Jesse Chavakis to take a timeout, because his team right now are on the ropes.
And Panathinaikos is playing with so much composure. Great preparation.
Great steal by Lessort. Can Panathinaikos turn it into points as they look to break? Here's Nunn in the open floor. He'll ride the drag screen of Lessort. Drops it off to Mitoglu. Jesse Chavakis needs a timeout. There's no doubt about it. Jesse Chavakis needs a timeout. Fenerbahce are on the rack. It's a perfect start for Panathinaikos. They jump out to a 12-0 lead. And look at Dino Mitoglu. He is all pumped up as he goes to the bench. Here's Nunn on the bounce. He'll penetrate. He'll dish. And Mitoglu with the flush. This sends the players to the benches. Dino Mitoglu with the dunk here to make it a 12-0 run. Panathinaikos lead 12-0 at the first timeout.
We keep fighting.
This is a group of champions.
We just gotta go there and play our type of game, play our fighting style.
Well, welcome back to the Uber Arena. George, it's a disastrous start for Fenerbahce. They're down 12-0, and they've turned the ball over 4 times.
Well, and one of the points that I had written here for the plan for Fenerbahce, they cannot allow a slow start to the game. So exactly opposite is happening here on the court. And this is SOS,
Yeah,
Liam.
it's SOS for sure. Well, Marko Guduric, who can play the point, comes in for Jesse Chavakis. And another question, again, Jesse Chavakis in his 5th time here in the Final Four is yet to win it. A young coach has got to keep his composure and keep his team calm.
Well, absolutely, but I think what is in favor of Fenerbahce is their ability to shoot from the outside. So despite being down 12, they do have a chance, Liam. Let's not count them out early.
Lessort now with a mismatch on Wilbekin. Wilbekin step back 3. And Lessort with a good closeout. That's a big foul. Sandler guarding a little on the perimeter.
Well, there was only 0.6 seconds left on the shot clock, so a great recognition and defense there by Mathias Lessort, who gets down and he challenges the shot perfectly.
George, I want to come back to this in a moment, next possession, but the defensive intensity of Panathinaikos has been stifling. They look to extend their lead now. This trip down the floor, Grant uses his body. He's stripped by Wilbekin, and that is exactly what Fenerbahce need to do, is play some hard defense and get some stops.
Well, they need to get down, and that's what I marked down. I mean, defense is the question with Fenerbahce. I know that they can shoot from the outside. They haven't gotten to shooting positions, but they also have to play, as we said before, defense with championships. They need to get down and play.
Shot clock running down. Grant with a mid-range jump shot. It won't go. And Wilbekin looks to break. Can Fenerbahce get something easy in transition?
They just need to get on the scoreboard. I think that's the main objective at the moment. Let's see if Marko Guduric can do something. Go inside to the post with this.
What a great spin by Hayes Davis, and one to come.
And this is exactly the situation that they like to use him.
Yeah, they use him in the low post, give him touches. He spins Jaren Grant here, who's a good defender, but out of his depth in the low post. Hayes Davis goes to the baseline, lays it up and in. He's got one to come.
As you see, a double team was coming from the top, so a great recognition by Nigel Hayes Davis. He sprints to the baseline and finishes it hard, taking the contact and a chance for a three-point play. That's a good moment there for Fenerbahce. I think also that their nerves are going to calm down after getting on the scoreboard. That's an important moment for them as well.
Yeah, for sure, as Tariq Babanovic comes in, the best shooter in terms of percentage from behind the arc. Free throw is off the mark.
And what a season for Tariq Babanovic. He has quadrupled his minutes from previous season.
Into the high post. Lessort, you can see how Senatat Sandler just standing off Lessort, enticing him to try to shoot. Papa Petro in the low post, that won't go.
Hayes Davis with a good rebound, and he pushes it up the court. Goes back to the post-up game, back to the basket. He's going to draw the double team.
Sandler had a good look at a three. I'm not sure, George, that's the best option, because you had Hayes Davis backing down Kendrick Nunn. Maybe stay patient, get a foul, or get to the line again.
Well, but he was doubled. I thought he read it well, and he threw it out to Senatat Sandler, who likes to shoot a three-pointer.
Yeah, he can shoot it.
He's shooting 33% for the season, which is not bad, and he got some considerable minutes there in the playoffs. So
yeah, he can definitely stretch the floor. That shot up the mark. That's exactly what you need. An easy basket on perfect execution of the end line out of bounds.
That's why he is on all EuroLeague team, just playing without the ball. That's the strength of Nigel Hayes Davis. You saw it live there.
Yeah, good movement, good back pick to open it up. You can see how Calathes is just locking down Kendrick Nunn. Lessort spills it. And exactly what Fenerbahce need, another stop. Maybe momentum starting to swing over to their side a little bit.
Liam, do you know what they say about basketball?
It's a game of runs.
Oh, you got me. We are connected, Liam. We know each other well. We know all the sayings, all the one-liners about basketball.
There it is.
And it is exactly what we are seeing here. It is a game of runs. Now the momentum shifting to the side of the Turkish team, Fenerbahce.
Well, Kostas Lukas on the floor for his first action. Hayes Davis comes to get it. Guduric, they're trying to get the ball inside to Sandler. Had a look, but they just couldn't. Senatat Sandler had a mismatch on Gregonis. They just couldn't find him. Another turnover.
You know, I thought that they should have gone to it a little bit quicker. You know, they took a lot of time to set up that play. The mismatch, they saw it for a good 10 seconds, just couldn't get the ball in.
Well, Sandler steps off Lessort. And now he's going to guard him as he dives to the basket. Here's Gregonis. Tough shot. Tough shot by Gregonis.
And he's going to keep you honest, and it's going to be a tough assignment there for Tariq Babanovic because he's moving constantly on the floor.
Yeah, I don't think that was bad defense by Fenerbahce. There's the extra pass, Babanovic. A good drive by Babanovic, and he can't get the roll, but two to come.
That's a good size advantage against Kostas Lukas, who has checked into the game, number 10. And his stands Final Four, as you mentioned. There is the take of Tariq Babanovic, who puts his shoulder and head down, takes the contact from Kostas Lukas, who pushes him off. So a clear foul, an easy call there for the referees to make.
I like this, George, though. You know, you're struggling to score, get some penetration, get some contact, get a trip to the line.
Well, I mean, a good sign about the maturity of the team of Fenerbahce is they are not panicking yet. You know, being down 12-0 in a single game scenario is nothing easy to handle. And they are slowly making their way back into the game, 14-6.
You saw Georgios Papagiannis on the bench. Fenerbahce used to play with Panathinaikos. Here's Slukas in space. Little shrug of the shoulders. Old school kiss off the glass by Slukas.
That's a great ball fade there by Kostas Slukas. One short dribble and a quick shot in the baseline.
Look how Lessort comes all the way away from the basket to guard Sandler. Goodrich on the left hand. Finishes over Lessort.
That's a good challenge there by Marko Goodrich, but he went for his strong hand, the left hand. And he gets down with a sweeping hook shot off the glass. It's really tough to stop.
There's Slukas between the circles. Rides the pick of Lessort. Back to Lessort. Lessort goes right down Main Street.
And he loves that, the energy that he brings with the plays like that. Mathias Lessort, hello! With the powerful dunk, right down the middle over Biberovic. Get out of the way.
Nice pass by Slukas, the bounce pass. Sets up the flush.
And we are back to the double-digit lead, 18-8.
Goodrich finds Sandler. I love this, George. I love the fact that center 10 Sandler fills the space that Goodrich penetrated from.
But look at the confidence that his teammates have in him. He just missed a three-pointer from the same spot just moments ago, but he stays with it.
You can see Calathes on the ball. Slides across the top of this pick. Great defense by Calathes. Goodrich, it's a quick release by Goodrich. Maybe not the best option.
I thought he was pretty well covered by Slukas that bothered his shot. I mean, there was really no separation between him and the defender.
Yeah, George, this hurts a little bit because we're going to see Lessort coming right into your living room right here. But, George, I think that hurts. It's a great steal by Calathes. It's a quick release. It's not an open look. Maybe not the best decision.
Well, what a boost it would have been if Marko Goodrich made that three-pointer, then you're talking a different story.
Yeah, you're ever the optimist.
And I'll tell you, with one turnover as a team, Panathinaikos is playing with surgical precision so far in the first quarter.
A foul here on Babenovic, who closes out on Grigonis. Neither team in the penalty yet. Just over a minute to play here in the first frame.
That's a good foul by Tari Biberovic. He was out of the defensive position. Just used one of his fouls.
Slukas gets deep, keeps his dribble alive. Now Grigonis trying to break down Biberovic. Grigonis, tough shot. Oh. Tough shot by Marius Grigonis.
That is a rainbow, right? Oh, that was a very good defense there by Biberovic.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the defense, just an even better shot. Now, inside a minute to play. Calathes with the ball in hand. Here's the mismatch. Lessort steps to guard him. Biberovic, can he make a three? It's off the mark. Rebound into the hands of Kendrick Nunn in the open floor. Here's Nunn. Oh, Nunn! Around the bag, and just wouldn't go. But Mathias Lessort cleans up the trash.
And that's what he does best. Mathias Lessort, he does not assume any shot is a make. He goes after the offensive rebound, and easy dudes for him.
Well, there certainly aren't any nerves from Kendrick Nunn in his first ever Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. A little showmanship there from the American. Tough pass inside to Sandler.
That's finally the third time that they have managed to get the ball inside on the mismatch. That's Sandler on the switch. There you see again. Oh, this is the around the wraparound miss by Kendrick Nunn. Lands pretty hard, but Mathias Lessort is there. Well, easy putback.
Well, good foul discipline from Panathinaikos, who are not yet in the penalty. Can Fenerbahce try to get something here? Last possession of the first quarter. Goodrich flashes back to get the ball. Tough pass to Sandler. Sandler in traffic and converts. Good hands by Senator Sandler. Good finish. And Fenerbahce, who found themselves down 12-0 at one stage, George, are slowly clawing and scratching to get back in this contest.
Well, and they are building back their self-confidence. That's a good sign for Fenerbahce. They was down 12 points at 1 point, Liam.
Your score at the end of the first, it's Panathinaikos 22, Fenerbahce 13. Well, first quarter highlights here in the first semifinal, the 24th edition of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Panathinaikos went to a 12-0 run, and Fenerbahce found themselves on the ropes early. They weathered the storm and clawed themselves back in this. There's a three from Jerry and Grant. Good spacing by Panathinaikos. Grant influential in this one. Good perimeter play between Grant, Nunn, and Slukas. Here's Nunn with the give, and that dunk there from Mitalu made it a 12-0 run. But all credit to Fenerbahce as they tried to get themselves back in this contest. Guduric with his drive came off the bench for coach Jesse Kavicic. That might be tonight's magic moment right there, big fella. That dunk by Mathias Lessort. But George, after 10 minutes, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was listening to your impeccable analysis of the first quarter of the highlights, and I look at the stats, Liam. What stands out is that 7 players have scored for Panathinaikos. This is an even scoring affair. A lot of players are involved in the offense for Coach Ergin Ataman and Panathinaikos Athens. I think that, as we said before, Fenerbahce is slowly but surely trying to build their shaken confidence. And here we have the best performer of the first quarter. It's Mathias Lessort with 4 points and 3 rebounds. One of them the offensive putback that he had after the Nunn made. So far, a great game from Panathinaikos, and Fenerbahce trying to get back in it.
Yeah, the perfect start for Panathinaikos, their first time in the Final Four since 2012. You know, their fans are ever so anxious about getting to a final. In second quarter action, Panathinaikos come out with Slukas, Mitalu, Grigonis, Nunn, and Mathias Lessort.
And we got number 27, Tyler Dorsey, for the first time in for Fenerbahce. That could be a big contribution for the offensive effort of the Yellows.
Nunn with that left hand. Rises, mid-range jump shot is good. The old mid-range jump shot, George, it's a lost art in modern basketball.
It is, but if you do it as well as Kendrick Nunn and as quick as Kendrick Nunn, that's a weapon.
So it's Dorsey, Guduric, Hayes Davis, Babanovic, and Sandler on the floor for Fenerbahce. Again, Sandler trying to get position on Grigonis in the low post. Skips to the Guduric, who's in space, and he strings it.
That is beautiful spacing and a great pass there. Nothing rushed. Said that Chandler was quick, but he was not in a hurry.
I'll tell you what, that's not wasted on me. You being a UCLA grad, that's right out of the mouth of Coach John Wooden.
That's right.
He's showing you UCLA colors here. Of course, my partner, George Zedek, won the EuroLeague in 1999 with Žalgiris, also an NCAA champion with UCLA.
Ramūnas Šiškauskas, another EuroLeague legend in attendance, a player that played long-term for CSKA Moscow and Panathinaikos Athens, so a lot of connections here. As you mentioned before, Nick Calathes playing for Panathinaikos. Yep. Papagiannis also for Panathinaikos.
That's right.
And Kostas Slukas, 5 seasons with Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce went to the Final Four in 5 consecutive years between 2015 and 2019. They won the title in 2017.
That was the first miss there by Kostas Slukas from long distance. He had 29 points, one of his best games in his career in Game 2 against Maccabi.
In the playoff series. Unfortunately, he had 0 points in Game 3. It was quite a contrast. The pass intended for Sandler, but intercepted. Good anticipation by Marius Grigonis. Pass ahead from Nunn, just a little bit too long.
But I like it the way that Fenerbahce is looking for Serta Chandler with switching there on pick and roll on the inside. I think that it could pay off in their efforts to get back into the game if they stay with it.
We'll see what they do this possession as Wilbekin walks it across the midcourt stripe. Rides a ball screen. Gets to the dots. Rises, just left it short. Gets his own rebound. Can he convert? He can. Wilbekin with the finish.
That's the way to stay with it there for Scotty Wilbekin, who started his European career there with Darüşşafaka Istanbul under Coach David Blatt. And he gave a lot of credit to Coach Blatt. He said he was the coach that gave me a chance, the first chance in EuroLeague.
Won the Euro Cup with Darüşşafaka, did Scotty Wilbekin. Now here's Slukas. Strolls through the lane, back out to the top. Wilbekin's going to chase him around all kinds of screens. Now Lessort just can't convert.
And again, it's a great defense by Chandler. Similar to Motley defense, they just stay down. They don't try to block the shot by Lessort. Just make it difficult for him to score.
Wilbekin snaps a pass inside. Great feed by Scotty Wilbekin. And once again, Fenerbahce will go to the line.
And that's another Euro Cup winner from last season, Nick Sestina there, that just checked into the game. He was fouled in the act of shooting here. He rolls to the basket, protects the shot. There was a little contact there on the shooting end, so Nick Sestina is going to have a chance to go to the free throw line for 2 free throws, a EuroLeague rookie.
Kostas Antetokounmpo just comes into the game, and his famous brother Giannis Antetokounmpo supporting him in the front row. Sestina in his first ever EuroLeague season makes the first.
You know, he started 4 of 33 games, so a bit of an adjustment here from the Euro Cup level to EuroLeague. And he did play some major minutes in Game 1 and Game 2 against Monaco in the playoffs, Liam. He averaged 20-plus minutes, and I was surprised that the room that he got from Coach Jasikavic.
Yeah, he was making threes, that's why. He was making shots.
You live and die by the outside shot, Liam, you know it. And he's a good shooter.
Well, here's the 7-0 run that we talked about earlier. Basketball, a game of runs. And now, Fenerbahce, who were down 12-0, just a 2-possession game now. Grigonis in the lane, left it short. A chance now for Fenerbahce to break. Here's Wilbekin in the open floor. He's going to ride a drag screen here from Papagiannis, who picks and pops. One more pass to Dorsey. It's on the way, and the shot's just off the mark. Grigonis to Nunn. Got it! Kendrick Nunn with a 3 in transition.
Kendrick Nunn is in the zone. He is absolutely showing no emotions after that made shot. I love it the way that he's been playing.
He's going to try and knock down and guard Wilbekin, who finds his teammate Dorsey. Dorsey shot short. Long rebound into the hands of Kendrick Nunn. It's a 3-on-2 opportunity. Slukas on the bounce. Slukas is fouled, but is he in the act of shooting, George? I think he's looking to pass here.
Well, I think the referee was very close to it, and he was going. He's too smart.
I think he's looking. Oh, yeah, no, he's looking to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, when he drew the contact, he knew that was a foul was being called. He just put it up. That's the experience of Kostas Slukas. I mean, even if you look across the European landscape, the experience with Kostas Slukas, the smart way that he plays basketball, and it's just the little tiny things that he does well.
His 10th EuroLeague Final Four. He has 3 championships back-to-back, 2012 and 2013 with Olympiacos. 2017 he won with Fenerbahce. They beat his former club Olympiacos in Istanbul. First time when Fenerbahce won in 2017, the first time a Turkish club in any sport won a major European title.
Exactly. Under Coach Jelko Obradovic, you remember the Final Four in Istanbul. What an event. Epe, Udo, Jan Vesely on the inside. That was a very formidable twin tower.
You just can't help yourself, can you? You got to mention the big guys.
Well, I mean,
Epe, Udo, Jan Vesely.
Well, the guards get all the cream.
Speaking of which, here's the guard, Dorsey, top of the key. Sestina, can he make it? He can.
That was a quick one right there in the face of Juancho Hernangomez.
Well, that's why he's been brought on the floor, is to make shots.
He's a powerful player, too. I mean, he can guard some people. You know, he can put some wood on somebody if he's rolling to the basket, make some hard fouls. That's what Nick Sestina can do for you.
Papagiannis steps hard on the screen to put pressure on Kendrick Nunn. Grant finds...
Whoa, that's the answer right there. What you can do, I can do better.
Juancho Hernangomez knocks down a 3.
You know, he showed a lot of character to come back for Game 5 after being injured in Game 2, 3, and 4 with a calf injury. and he scored 11 points in 14 minutes. I look at the three-pointer. That's the first touch of basketball there.
Coming right up the bench.
Yeah,
that's a brave player.
That is not easy to do.
You can see how animated Coach Jesse Calathes is. He's been here 5 times with Barcelona, Žalgiris, now his 3rd club, Fenerbahce. We should talk about that a little bit, George, when we get a chance. You know, Jesse Calathes has really turned the season around for Fenerbahce.
What a block by Antetokounmpo. And here's Giannis right in front of us, just giving props to his brother. What a play. Look at that coming out of nowhere, swatting into the 5th row.
Well, it comes from the help side. Perfect timing. Antetokounmpo, and lunch is served. Calathes back on the floor for Fenerbahce. Pierre, look at how hard and rugged Papapetru is. Pierre can't convert. Good hard defense by Papapetru.
That was a battle there on the low block for the small forward. Some serious sparks were flying there.
So Panathinaikos look to extend a double-digit lead here this trip down the floor. Fenerbahce got it to 4 at one stage. Here's Grant off the high ball screen. This goes upstairs. He was trying to combine with Antetokounmpo with the alley-oop, but maybe just a little bit too high for the big fella.
That was a good presence of mind there for Papagiannis, who expected a lot, and he just kind of boxed out Antetokounmpo out of bounds.
We hit the midway mark of the 2nd quarter. Game settled into a rhythm now, and Grant might have got away with one.
Oh, the physicality is being brought up on both sides.
Yeah.
Another alley-oop pass was broken up, this time by Panathinaikos defense.
Yeah, it's an ill-advised pass by Calathes, really kind of a blind alley-oop. But a moving screen here on Antetokounmpo.
And that was a number 3 turnover there for Nick Calathes, who we said was a huge part there in the playoffs for Fenerbahce. And he has not been in his best form in the semifinals so far.
Yeah, he's the all-time leader in assists in Turkish Airlines EuroLeague history. We'll take a break with a timeout. Panathinaikos up 9, 32-23 over Fenerbahce. Well, fans, a chance here at this break to take a look at Turkish Airlines EuroLeague flight time for Panathinaikos. This capped off a 12-0 run. Zino Mitroglou rises. He's looking to tell anybody all about it. Steps into the halo. And a two-fisted dunk from the 4-4 from Panathinaikos as he emotes. And there's Zino Mitroglou right there.
Well, in all honesty, Liam, I was expecting the Mathias Lessort dunk down the middle, but I think Zino Mitroglou got the hanging time there on the rim. You know,
might have got a little help with the rim. As Polish Yankunis. Good to see the Lithuanian, big smiles on his face. All-time leader in rebounds in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
Yeah, superb rebound right now. The new CEO of Žalgiris Calathes. He did well in his rookie season.
Take a look at some defense here from Antetokounmpo. Rotates from the help side. Scotty Wilbekin.
Well, I guess there was no question there if that was a foul or not. It was all clean, all ball. And here's his brother Giannis Antetokounmpo, absolutely loving that moment. What a spectacular display of athleticism for the young fella.
Fantastic timing. Well, out of the timeout now, Fenerbahce, can they continue to get themselves back in this game? They haven't gone to the small ball lineup yet. Papagiannis steps to shoot it. Got it! The big fella adding that to his game. That is as pure as you like.
That came from left field, Liam. If you ask me, I did not have Papagiannis penciled as a three-point shooter.
He's certainly adding that to his repertoire of skills, no doubt about it.
And that's also a belief from Coach Jasikavich's.
Here's Grant. Got a size advantage over Wilbekin. Rises over Wilbekin and got it, and one to come.
That's a cold-blooded play. I think that Panathinaikos is playing with so much confidence and poise, Liam. Look at it again. Perfect spacing, recognition. No double team coming, and it's an easy one-on-one situation in this mismatch. So much size advantage there for Jerry and Grant.
Grant comes from a talented basketball family himself as well.
Does he?
Go on, you can tell everybody.
Well, it's all you.
The son of Harvey Grant, played in the NBA.
And two of his brothers are playing also professionally.
Right, Jeremy. He's got to get one shot to come here. Grant was the Euro Cup MVP in 2023 and an All-Euro Cup first team last year when he played for Turk Telekom. Well, he's got prior experience in the EuroLeague with Milan. Wasn't a great fit for him.
Well, I thought it was too many guards, and he, you know, with Milano, and he just found it difficult to find his rhythm. You know how it is sometimes to find rhythm, minutes. You have to be in the right situation at the right time.
There's Calathes trying to shake free. Now Papagiannis, can he make another one? He's going to try. That one's short. A loose ball foul here on Dechampierre. Well, George, now let's just talk quickly. You're Fenerbahce, right? You come out, you go down 12-0. So halftime beckons here, a couple of minutes. Where do you want to be when halftime comes, having started 12-0 down?
Single digits. That's all I would be shooting for. But I'd like to point out the viewers' attention to Panathinaikos Calathes, who just checked into the game. If you go back to Game 5 against Maccabi, he came on for 12 minutes to the floor, and he caused pure havoc. He's a player that changes the rhythm. He brings so much energy off the bench. Let's watch him. Number 0 for Panathinaikos.
Kendrick trying to carve out space for a shooting opportunity. No good. Back into the hands of Grant. Shot clock at 5. Grant with a crossover. Really good defense from Fenerbahce. Oh, it's just your heart goes out to Fenerbahce because Papagiannis commits a foul as the shot clock buzzer's going off.
And did not we talk about it before the game? The discipline of Papagiannis. Sometimes, you see that? He gives the referee a chance to call the foul.
Call.
No, but you give a referee a chance to call the foul if you bring your blocking hand down. If he stays straight up, then, you know, the referees don't really have a chance to call it. What's his size? He's 2.17 meters.
He is. That's a surprise. Well, unsurprisingly, he gets hooked from the game, and in comes Senator Sandla on that mental mistake. Can Antetokounmpo profit? Misses the first free throw.
But I thought it was a good entry there for Papagiannis in the game. He made a three-pointer. He played some tough defense on the inside, boxed out, got some rebounds. So not a bad entry there for Papagiannis, but as you said, it's a mental mistake that coach Šarūnas Jasikevičius will not tolerate, and we got Senator Sandla back into the game.
Antetokounmpo misses both.
Only 40% free throw shooter for the season.
Now Hayes Davies back on the floor, wants to get back into his office. Double team coming. Extra pass. Goodrich sets up the shot, hits the heel of the rim, and Calathes chases down the long rebound. Here's Hayes Davies in space. He'll try a three. Got it! Nigel Hayes Davies off the assist from Calathes. And we've got a 5-point game with less than 3 to play. He makes it right in front of his coach, and this brings a timeout from Coach Ataman.
Well, big players come to play in the big games, and it's 34-29 for Panathinaikos in the second quarter here in Berlin.
Well, George, we're inside the huddle here for Fenerbahce. We can't hear the words of Coach Jasikevičius. Just speculate what he might be talking about here with his troops.
Well, I think that he's shooting what we said before. They're down 5. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds play in the second quarter. So I think that he wants to stay as close as possible going into the locker room, if not talking about taking the lead.
As a team, they're 5 of 15 from behind the arc, just 33%. Here's the pass from Calathes, and Hayes Davies knocks down that 3.
Well, if they start making them, it's going to be tough for Panathinaikos. The stats is 11.5 makes from the long distance for Fenerbahce in the season. I always said that Hayes Davies is perhaps known for his back to the basket game, making cuts through the defense and finishing, given his size. But here you saw a three-pointer. That was a big one. Yeah, he brought it down to 5 points.
He can score at 3 levels. You know, he can step away from the basket, as you saw there. He can score in a low post. He's got a little mid-range game. When you get 50 points a game, you got to have a lot of different scoring tools.
That is true. That was a good saying that I like. He said before the Final Four. He said his quote that he likes to use a lot in his life is, it's not that important, but it is. You know, I think he said it just states a lot about how I view the game of basketball and life in general.
Well, Slukas with the ball in his hands now, coming out of the timeout. The measure of a good timeout. Can you get an offensive look out of it? Grigonis, who's played well so far, lets fly with a shot, and that's off the mark. And look at the hustle of Kendrick Nunn. There's your leading scorer, chasing down long rebounds.
Well, but long shots produce long rebounds. Oh! Hello, Mathias Lessort is dialing in from Berlin.
Another thunder dunk from Mathias Lessort. Pushes the lead to 7. Here's Hayes Davis, a little curl cut. Now he'll step to the spot where he's made 1 3 already. That one's off the mark. And Calathes with a rebound.
The guards have to really pay attention to boxing out if their long shots are taken. Hayes Davis. Oh, what a block by Lessort from the weak side.
Hayes Davis couldn't score there. Now, right now, Fenerbahce scrambling to match up. Grigonis, his pass intercepted. Guduric, good anticipation, and the easy lay-in for Marko Guduric. Exactly what you're looking for when you're chasing a game. Easy baskets, but great steal by Guduric.
But a great gamble too, Liam. I mean, if you go and play the passing lane, sometimes it doesn't pay off, but Marko Guduric is so good at that.
5-point game. The difference has been as low as 4. It hasn't been a one-possession game at any stage in this contest. Here's Grigonis. Drops a pass inside. And last touch by a Fenerbahce hand. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, that's a great recovery there. Here you see the dunk, the powerful dunk to the baseline by Mathias Lessort. Was that good of an execution out of the timeout that you called for, Liam?
Yeah. What about this block right here? He gets it right at the apex. No appeal for goaltending. Looked like he was still on the way up.
Well, he's an intimidating presence there, Mathias Lessort, defensively and offensively. What an athlete.
Played for Partizan last year. They lost him. Turnover. Calathes ahead to Hayes Davis. Thought about it. Now he goes to the rack and draws the foul on Mathias Lessort.
That is absolutely a veteran move by Nigel Hayes Davis. He slowed down, drew the contact, and just waited for the referee to call the foul. Look at that here.
Leans in, got the contact, you're right. Ooh, that looked all right. Looked like a lot of leather. Looked like a lot of leather. You can see what Ataman thinks. I think he's annoyed about the turnover, Coach Ataman.
No, I think that was only number 1 foul on Mathias Lessort, so the issue was about a foul here with Coach Ataman. I mean, of course, you know, he feels that this is an unnecessary comeback that Fenerbahce is making after Panathinaikos jumped out to a 12-0 lead. You know, he doesn't like to see the lead dwindling to 3 points if Nigel Hayes Davis makes the free throw, which he does.
It is now a one-possession game.
Well, he'd like to see that the double digits, exactly the opposite of Jasikevicius.
Yeah. Slukas now. Nunn finds space. His shot's too strong. Grigonis muscles his way in. Great hustle. What a hard-nosed play by Marius Grigonis.
Well, he's not the biggest guy there out on the floor, but he just found a way to grab the loose ball and quickly laid it in. 6 points there for Grigonis.
30 seconds left in this first half. Handoff. Baberovic gets to the dots. Good movement by Hayes Davis. 3 on the way. Got it! Nigel Hayes Davis!
Hayes Davis is playing like a player that has scored 50 points in the season. He is in the zone and on a mission.
2-point game, 10 seconds left as halftime beckons. Fenerbahce trying to dig in and defend here. They've clawed themselves back in this game. Caused a turnover. Can they turn it into points? Dechampierre with the heave and hope along the way. But a great stop from Fenerbahce, who found themselves down 12-0. They weren't on the ropes, George. They were on the mat. They've got themselves up, they've dusted themselves down, and they've got themselves right back in this contest at halftime. Stay with us, fans. We're going to go courtside and get some interviews from some players as the teams will go into the changing rooms. I'm going to hand over to my partner here in just a moment to give you some analysis. We're waiting to go courtside to get some thoughts of two players before they go into the halftime changing room. Here's your score at the halftime intermission. Panathinaikos 38, Fenerbahce 36.
He was absolutely spectacular and unstoppable, Liam.
Well, Nigel Hayes-Davis gathers best performance honors of the second quarter. What I love, George, is Nick Calathes went right over to Kendrick Nunn, and he met him at the sideline before he even came onto the floor. He's going to guard him here in the second quarter. Here's Grant. Tough, hard-nosed basket by the double deuce, Jaren Grant.
And it's good basketball there by Jerry and Grant. And he just stayed patient, used his body. Nice bank shot in traffic.
Fenerbahce start with Calathes, Wilbekin, Sandler, Hayes-Davis, and Babinovic. Hayes-Davis' progress is impeded on the way to the hoop, showing some guard skills. That's a tough shot. Got it!
Oh! Did you see that?
Nigel Hayes-Davis with a turnaround jump shot at the death of the shot clock.
Well, now definitely you can say he's in the zone after scoring 2 3-pointers. Now with a quick jumper. What a tough shot. I'm not sure how much time he had to look at the basket.
You see the 5 on the floor for Panathinaikos. It's Grant, Nunn, Papapetru. Nunn picks up the loose ball, extra pass to Papapetru, and he knocks down the 3 from the corner. The corner 3-pointer from Papapetru.
I told you, Papapetru is taking what his teammates give him, and he is making the most out of his shooting situations.
Mitalu and Lessort round out the starting 5 for Panathinaikos. Babinovic too strong as he comes off the screen.
That was way off the mark, but in my vocabulary, Giannis Papapetru is a low-maintenance player, Liam. He will play defense, he will not require balls and situations offensively, but if you give it to him, he's going to knock it down.
Here's Lessort now trying to break down Sandler on the dribble. Skillful move inside, and he got some love from the rim.
And he got really close to the basket. I think this is a time for Sertac Sandler to use one of his fouls.
Yeah, because we talked about this, George, right? Lessort struggles from the stripe, so put the lumber on him and put him on the line.
Especially if you got Papagiannis there on the bench, and you got Jonathan Motley as well.
Yeah.
So you basically have 3 true centers that can take turns on Mathias Lessort, and there was some contact there. I'm not sure during the act of shooting or after. Let's see if that's the elbow. Yeah, I think to the face there on the when Mathias Lessort was securing his shot, he came down with his elbow in the face of Sertac Sandler. We'll see it again. Here's the shot. There's no contact, and here Lessort is possibly going for the offensive board. He came down with his left elbow in the face of Sandler.
Has a good move, interior footwork. As a big guy, you must have enjoyed that.
Well, I said before, I mean, you see how low he stays to the ground. It is so difficult to bother his shooting cylinder.
Right. No, right. There is a contact, but there is nothing. Believe me. It's nothing. Give us this. It's nothing. Nothing on purpose is not bias. Yes. Okay.
That's absolutely a great call by the referees. They reviewed if there was any intention in the contact by Mathias Lessort, and there was none. It was just part of the play, and the stakes are high, Liam, so you know that everybody's going to try to make sure the ball is going in.
Yeah. And you can see Lessort comes over quite sportingly and shakes the hands of Sandler. There's no malice in it. Incidental contact. Good job by the referees to review that, and we play on.
That's a 7-point lead with 2 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Here's Calathes. Bottled up by Jaren Grant, who's also a good defender. Extra pass. Good close out by Papapetru. It's a long 3 from Calathes, and he knocks it down! Nick Calathes knocks down a 3, put a stamp on that one to make sure it got to the rim.
What a shot for Calathes, who made back-to-back threes to put Fenerbahce to Final Four in Monaco in Game 5 in overtime.
He's not the best three-point shooter, but Jesse Cavic just made the comment that if he gets his feet set, he's a better shooter than if he has to pivot. Here's Lessort going to work against Sandler. And Sandler does just enough to put him off.
That was a bit of a luck there, I thought, for Sandler, because there was a great angle to the basket there for Mathias Lessort.
Calathes glides to the basket, lays it up and in.
That's straight 5 points there for for Calathes, as we saw briefly there. Olympiacos players getting ready for the second semifinal. But Calathes, after a rough start to the game, is coming back to play.
Yeah, Calathes with 5 points and 3 assists. Grant's played well.
Well, he's the top scorer for Panathinaikos with 11. He's in the double digits. First player for Panathinaikos.
Well, Calathes thought about that 3 for a long time. Moves it on one pass. And, you know, showing the inexperience here a little bit, George Verbinovic. Sandler had Nunn pinned in the halo and didn't get a touch.
Well, I thought in the first quarter he missed him a couple of times in the post on the mismatch. So, Darek Biberovic, but he draws the foul. Here just again puts his head down. He's a tough driver. I mean, the physicality of Darek Biberovic gives him a lot of potential for the future, especially if he gets his shot consistent.
Wilbekin moves it on one more. Good closeout again by Papapetru. Tough shot at the baseline by Biberovic, but he knocks down the mid-range jump shot.
I'll tell you what, I think he's playing under the right coach that puts good confidence in the young players. That Sharas Jasikevičius, that's been his trademark.
Yeah. What a good player he was himself. EuroLeague titles as a player with Panathinaikos back in 2009. Here's Nunn. He can't score. 2 titles with Maccabi. Jasikevičius has had, and 1 with Barcelona as a player.
But I tell you what, you just see Serta Chandler just standing his ground, just putting himself between the player, the shooting player, if that was it was Kendrick Nunn, and the basket, just going straight up. This is something that Papagiannis should absolutely learn from Serta Chandler. Here the foul, a clear foul, a good foul there by Scotty Wilbekin. And there you see one of the aspects of the game of Mathias Lessort. He's fighting so hard for position on the offensive glass. That's why he's number 3 in competition in offensive rebounds. Mathias Lessort, he is not giving up on any shot. And here's the part of his game that you mentioned. There's question mark over it, and that's the free throw shooting.
Yeah, he shot just 61% from the line all season.
And we talked about it over dinner last night. That was a game that he missed 12 straight free throws, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah, one of the playoff games. He went 3 for 14 by the end of the night, but he was 0 for 12 at one stage. Converts the second as Guduric gets ready to step into the game. It's a 1-possession game, just 3 points. Wilbekin will check out. Now, Calathes across the midcourt stripe against Nunn. Hayes Davis looks to pick and pop. Calathes bottled up and somehow slides a bounce pass to Davis.
That was a heads-up play there by Nick Calathes. I mean, he just seems surrounded by the defenders of Fenerbahce.
Yeah, moved it on once, but the foul here. I'm not sure if it's on Grant or Mitalu. I think it's Mitalu with the call.
That's going to be on the floor before the act of shooting. So side out of bounds there for Fenerbahce.
Here's Guduric with the left hand. Oh, what a block by Mitalu.
That's rejection city by Dino Mitoglu. You know, if you compare him, it's my opinion, against his days with Armani Milano, he seems a lot leaner and a lot more athletic. I don't know if you will agree with me. A lot quicker in the lane.
It's a terrific athletic play there. And we've got a moving screen on Guduric.
I thought it was Nate Sestina just pushing off.
Oh, there it is. You're right. Yep. Sestina called for the foul. That's a turnover. All of a sudden, both sets of fans, George, really starting to come into this game. We can hear the fans and the drums beating behind us. 7 turnovers for each team.
Oh, and a charge on Kendrick Nunn. What a heads-up play there by Hayes Davis. He just stepped in front of a charging bull.
Well, Kendrick Nunn, a wry smile from him.
That is not an easy call to make, because Kendrick Nunn was going in lightning speed. Look at it again. Wow, that's a tough call to make.
Bang, bang play for the referee to make. He's right on it. And credit to Nigel Hayes Davis, who put his body on the line.
Well, I mean, it took some guts to stand there.
Yeah, and there you go, George. I mean, that's your leading scorer who's doing the dirty work.
Well, is that the small details that could possibly decide a game?
Speaking of which, it's a good idea from Sestina. He tried to slide a pass from high to low, but it's knocked out of the hands of Hayes Davis, and he turned it over. Good defense by Panathinaikos.
That was a good mismatch and a possible read there by Sestina. He just perhaps could have put it a little bit higher up there, given the mismatch.
9th turnover against Fenerbahce. Grant trying to start the offense for Panathinaikos. Guarded by Kendrick. Lessort wants a touch inside. Hayes Davis fights to get in front. Good defense by Hayes Davis. Now he switches onto the ball. Lessort. Hayes Davis comes to help. And it's a great defensive exchange for Fenerbahce, who is showing plenty of character and plenty of fight in this ball game.
And if we call for the superb defense of Panathinaikos early on, now it's Fenerbahce just putting some serious concentrated effort there defensively.
Both teams with 9 turnovers. A chance for Fenerbahce to draw level this trip down the floor. They have never been even since this game started after that 12-0 run. Little dribble weave. Calathes changes directions, lost the handle. Shot clock running down. Here's Kendrick. Eyeball to eyeball with Papapetru. Kendrick gets in the lane, the left-handed. He can't convert, had a good look at it, just couldn't convert the drive. Now here's Jerry and Grant on the sideline, and he's fouled by Sestina. And the referee, the trail referee, calls an intentional foul.
Wow, unsportsmanlike foul there on Tarek Beberovic.
We'll see if Coach Jesse Cavage, George, is going to ask for a review of this.
Well, I think if there's a time for a coach's challenge, this is now, as we are getting underway in the second half of the third quarter.
Well, it's a good question, George, because he doesn't reach for the ball, Beberovic. It's all contact on the body. And the determination is you've got to make a legitimate play for the basketball. Well, we've got a timeout here from the Uber Arena. Panathinaikos up 3 points, 48-45 over Fenerbahce. Well, a chance to take a look again at Turkish Airlines EuroLeague flight time. Lessort was overlooked last time, George. It was Dino Mitalu who won it. This time, Mathias Lessort, he learned a lesson from his teammate. I got to hang on to the rim here a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. That's Mathias Lessort just buckling up and going up strong with the dunk to the baseline over Tarek Beberovic. And that's the sea of green that we have behind us. What a spectacular atmosphere the fans of all teams, I'm sure, are creating here in Berlin.
Remember, of course, we've got another semifinal to come. Real Madrid, 11-time champions Real Madrid against 3-time champions Olympiacos. Plenty of basketball. Stay with us throughout the night.
And the replay of the last year's championship game that went down to the wire to the last second.
Sergio Yui made that jump shot.
Well, once he had the ball in his hands, Liam,
it was going up.
You can almost count it. He's a master of shots like that to win a game.
Yeah, he's made so many, hasn't he, in his career? So
no challenge, no coach's challenge.
The unsportsmanlike foul sticks. So Grant will throw it twice. And then Panathinaikos will retain possession. I think the referee's got it right, George. There wasn't a reach for the ball. It was just all contact on the body.
And Mehdi Defala, the French referee, was right on top of the play, as you
he was right
mentioned.
there, for sure. So Grant dispatches both free throws.
And he stays the high scorer. He's up to 13 points, which is a bit of a surprise for me. As game one, it was Lessort in the playoffs. Game two, Slukas, and then 3 games by Nunn.
Yeah, but don't you think a lot of times in a one-off, somebody just steps up that you don't expect?
That's the one-game scenario that we talked about before.
Papapetru drops a pass inside to Lessort, and Lessort is fouled by Beberovic. Smart foul by Beberovic as he wants to put Lessort back on the line.
Well, absolutely there. That's what you do. The first 2 free throws, there was a split 1 of 2 that Mathias Lessort was able to make.
Lessort, all EuroLeague first team selection this year.
You know, if you talk about Jerry and Grant, I think that you have to go back and look at his experience in the NBA, where he played 4 seasons. You know, he got 279 games in EuroLeague under his belt. So, you know, he's a player that is capable, absolutely capable of handling a high-pressure situation, just like a semifinal here.
Yeah, Mathias Lessort, also an all-EuroLeague first-team selection last year with Partizan. And you're right, George, sometimes it takes players time to settle. When he was at Milan, you know, Siobhan Shields was a better player at that stage of his career. Siobhan Shields was not as heralded a player coming out of the U.S. collegiate systems, just better in terms of development. All credit to Grant who's working on his game. Now, here's Hayes Davis. Moves it on one, and the three up and good by Sestina.
Sestina, second three-pointer of the game. Good spot up there, good spacing by Sestina.
Slukas guarded by Tyler Dorsey. They both play internationally for Greece. Slukas around the screen of Lessort. Might have got bumped, no call. Calathes picks up the loose ball. It's a 5-on-4 opportunity for Fenerbahce. Hayes Davis kicks. Dorsey checks his feet. Streaks it!
Count it! Count it!
For the first time in the ball game, we're knotted up at 51 each.
What a ball game. Sharas Jasikevičius is absolutely feeling it. The momentum shifting to his side.
Right now, it's a 2. Tyler Dorsey had his foot on the line. Your score at the timeout, Panathinaikos 51, Fenerbahce 50, as this game has come to life.
Great rebounding job
Well,
here.
timeout here for Panathinaikos, George, just to kind of slow things down.
Being guarded by the 5.
If you're Fenerbahce, you are feeling it. Good defense to set up the transition opportunity. Good spacing. And Dorsey, who's just into the game, knocks down the corner shot.
Nick.
What an electrifying game, but let's listen to Sharas if we can a little bit.
Shot for Nigel. Shot, you like 5. Man, Nigel, UCLA for Nick. Don't force it unless it's very open. You pass back. No, this is Nigel. You pass back to Nate. Nigel, big for Tyler.
Well, we'll show you some of the emotions that are in the arena. This team of Moneke. Speaking of emotions, Jasikevičius, who's got passionate fans here from Panathinaikos and Fenerbahce. It has been a marvelous spectacle in this cauldron of competition. I got to say, George, too, it's getting hot in here.
Oh, it is. We have taken our jackets off. We have loosened up our ties.
For sure.
But we have buckled up because it's been a wild ride here so far, Liam. A spectacular first semifinal of the EuroLeague.
So coming out of the timeout, now Slukas with the ball in hand.
As the execution out of the timeout, it's just spoke. That's an important possession here for Panathinaikos and his players.
Well, looks like they're out of the set now. Slukas looks like that wasn't exactly the look they wanted to get. His three is off the mark. Good stop by Fenerbahce.
And a first chance for Fenerbahce to take the lead now. They're down 1.
First opportunity to get their noses in front. There's the UCLA pick that Jasikevičius just talked about, the high pick from Davis. He'll pick and pop now. Moves it on one pass. I thought he was going to go to the rack. The three from Goodrich is off the mark. And George, maybe a little bit too unselfish from Hayes Davis there.
That was a difficult pass. I thought that Goodrich had a problem to handle the pass as well.
Nunn dispossessed by Calathes. And look at the emotion of Nick Calathes.
Nick Calathes is playing defense. He turned the ball over early a couple of times in the opening moments, but he's back and he's playing defense. He's doing the best he can for his team. Scored 5 points in the third quarter as well.
Yeah, good defense there by Calathes, who won the EuroLeague with Panathinaikos back in 2011. Again, Fenerbahce a chance to get themselves in front for the first time in the ballgame. And Mitalu with a steal. It's so frustrating if you're a Fenerbahce fan. You got a chance to go ahead twice.
I thought that Goodrich got a little bit careless there with the ball in the pass on the pick and roll. Oh, the law pass broken up, but there was a contact with Mathias Lessort who could not get loose there. Well, somebody held him off. It's Marco Goodrich who's called for the foul.
Goodrich has pleaded his case to the referee.
Hey, given how this game is going, Liam, And we got free throws coming up too for Mathias Lessort. I gotta give you one interesting stat
Hit me.
that stand out today. In close games that were decided by 5 points or less, Fenerbahce is 3-8 for the season.
Wow.
Okay, in regulation.
You're
regulation.
upsetting the Fenerbahce fans
Wow.
now.
At the same time, Panathinaikos, you know what's their record in 5 or less in regulation?
They won them all.
4-7.
Wow.
Both
okay.
of the teams don't like close games in regulation. That was very surprising to me, given what kind of a season these teams both had.
You told me you were going for a nap at lunchtime. You were doing your work. You were studying. Dorsey just trying to fight through a pick here.
That's off the ball foul, holding foul.
Fouls on Kendrick Nunn.
Well, Kendrick Nunn has been quiet by the playoff standards. He's got only 8 points so far.
Now that's his third foul, so he's going to come out of the game. He's the only player in foul trouble in either team. Goodrich, I beg your pardon, also has 3, so keep an eye on that. As Calathes, who's your all-time leader in assists and steals, comes out of the game. Now, Goodrich, around the screen of Sandler, the pass. Well, they got their wires crossed there. Dorsey picks up the loose ball. Now, shot clock running down. Dorsey going to try to make something happen on the bounce. He's guarded by 3. Somebody has to be open. Sandler, rush shot. Great defense by Panathinaikos as they force a difficult shot from Senator Sandler.
A very good defense there for Panathinaikos, but Fenerbahce is not setting up their offense quickly.
Slukas drives to the basket and he's stripped by Tyler Dorsey.
You see, that's why I think Coach Jasikevic is on the sideline. He's very upset at his players. They are taking way too long to set up their offense.
All ball by Tyler Dorsey.
Absolutely, that's the quickness of Dorsey to get in front of Slukas.
Both of them play internationally for Greece. They've gone against each other in practice quite a bit, no doubt. Of course, Olympic basketball coming up this year. Oh, I thought Slukas was pushed here, George. Slukas stepped out of bounds, but I thought he got a little bump.
Well, they're all over him. That's no question there. And Tyler Dorsey doing a superb job.
I thought Sandley right there maybe bumped him just enough to cause the turnover, but the referees disagreed.
No, but he did step on the sideline. There was no question about it as his shoe.
Here comes a player that you like right now on the floor.
Calathes, let's see if he changes things there for Panathinaikos as he did in Game 5 in the playoffs.
Well, just a minute to play here. It's the third time that Fenerbahce have got a chance to draw level. Wilbekin between the circles, rides the screen of Sandler. Wilbekin goes at Lessort. Baseline jump shot from Wilbekin is short. Again, Panathinaikos come up with a key stop. 3 stops in a row. Sometimes coaches call that a kill. 3 stops in a row. Can they get a point here? Hang on to your head! Lessort goes to the rack, but he comes up empty. Now he's on the floor. It's a 5-on-4 opportunity for Fenerbahce. Sestina steps into a 3, and it's just off the mark.
That's a 5th possession there for Fenerbahce that they had not been able to score. That's a heartbreaker there for the Turkish fans and the team. And a good challenge there on the Lessort dunk.
Little weave up top here for Panathinaikos, but an 8-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Here's Grant. Shot clock running down. Grant. Tough pass. Calathes. Got it!
The X factor of the bench, Calathes.
Opa! Calathes with a 3 to punctuate the third quarter, where Fenerbahce couldn't come up with anything offensively. The man who came off the bench, right here, Panathinaikos Calathes. Let's fly with a 3. Right at the death of the shot clock. I thought Grant was a little bit too unselfish. Shows you what I know. Panathinaikos up 6 at the end of the third. Well, third quarter highlights in this clash between Panathinaikos and Fenerbahce. These two clubs have played each other close to 40 times, but it's the first time they've ever met in the Final Four stage of the competition. Jerian Grant with 13 points paces Panathinaikos. Kendrick Nunn picked up his 3rd foul. He'll probably start on the bench to start the 4th quarter. As for Fenerbahce, it is Nigel Hayes-Davis with 14 points, Nate Sestina with 8, Kendrick with 7, so just one player in double digits. Calathes has been exceptional, especially defensively. But I think Fenerbahce, George, are looking for a go-to guy. You would thought Hayes Davies would step up and want the basketball a little bit more. He had 12 points at halftime. He had just 2 points in that quarter.
Well, you know, I think that there are 2 aspects to this. I think that Panathinaikos has just really dug deep down and they are playing great defense. But at the same time, I think that Fenerbahce needs to set up quick. They need to go to simple basketball and they need to set up very quick.
I agree with you, George. A lot of times as we look at the stats here, you can see the turnovers for each team, 11 and 10 respectively. But Mathias Lessort garners best performance honors here in that third quarter. He has 12 points, just 1 point behind Grant. But George, just to come on that, I think defensively, Panathinaikos are so aggressive, so tenacious. They're just getting Fenerbahce out of their rhythm, almost out of their sets at times.
Well, I thought that Jerry and Grant is starting a great way to play defense there on the ball, and you got Mathias Lessort who gets the steal.
Lessort with a steal. Hang on to your hat. Here goes Lessort as he soars for the transition basket. Great steal by Mathias Lessort, and an easy basket to extend the lead to 8 to start the fourth and final quarter. Fenerbahce come out with Calathes, Sandler, Wilbekin, Dorsey, and Sestina. Wilbekin, let's fly. Everything is difficult for Fenerbahce. The defense of Panathinaikos has been so good. And Lessort is going to get called for a foul here, George.
You know, there's a lot of contact there all game here between Sandler and Mathias Lessort. And this time the referees called a foul, offensive foul on Mathias Lessort.
For Lessort, it's his second personal foul, so not in any trouble. Jerry and Grant won the flight time of the third quarter. Remember, whoever wins throughout the Final Four gets a prize from Turkish Airlines EuroLeague, 100,000 flight miles.
Wow, that's a lot of miles there. Free tickets there from the Turkish Airlines. Tell you that.
Turkish Airlines, the longtime sponsor of this competition. We're in the 24th edition of the modern EuroLeague. Look at the focus glaze there of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Wouldn't he love to get in the ball game? On the floor for Fenerbahce, Calathes lines up at 3. It won't go, and it's another one-and-done possession. Not even a yellow jersey going to the backboard to try and get an offensive rebound.
That's a tough break here for Fenerbahce as Mitoglu lets the three-pointer fly. It was a lot of contact, but no foul call.
And there you go, George. Here's the difference. You've got green jerseys competing for offensive rebounds, and they get a second possession and a trip to the line.
You got Calathes just coming so big, you know. I mean, it's his second season here with Panathinaikos, and he just comes up big in a crucial game 5 in the playoffs, and now in the semifinal, just really changing the rhythm of the game.
We'll take a break here as Panathinaikos up 58-50. And there you go, George. So how do Fenerbahce get themselves back into this game?
They have to find a way to score. I'm not sure if it was 7 or 8 straight possessions that they have not been able to score. And you just have to find maybe a lucky break. This is something that the players was talking about. You need a tiny little break, a loose ball, get an offensive rebound, but just go to simple basketball and don't try to make it too complicated.
You know, off air, you and I were talking about the small ball. Fenerbahce had to use this in the playoffs, and particularly in the absence of Jonathan Motley. You know, Kavicic hasn't gone to that yet. Is that something he might think about?
And I'll tell you why. Because Panathinaikos is doing a superb job, absolutely scrambling out on the shooters. They have done such a good job that I don't think it makes sense to go with the small ball.
Defensively, Panathinaikos have been nothing short of exceptional. There's Dennis Schlitterder. Plays for the German national team, a world champion with Germany, also with the Brooklyn Nets. And great to see the players in their off-season, real basketball junkies, coming to watch.
Well, I mean, if you got this atmosphere, I mean, it's just spectacular to be here at the Uber Arena.
Well, here's a key stat. Panathinaikos won 20 of 25 games when leading after the third quarter. Something you alluded to a little bit.
That's a strong stat right there. Let's see if it holds up here today, the first semifinal of the Final Four. A lot of respect for this young player. Panayotis Calathes.
Just his second EuroLeague season. Spent a couple of seasons playing in Lithuania.
And Calathes, that's right. I mean, he went to learn the ropes, the basketball crazy country. That tells you about his dedication to the game.
He makes both free throws. Panathinaikos 10 of 15 from the stripe. By contrast, Fenerbahce shot just 7 free throws, converted 6. Now, can they try to find some rhythm on offense? Good closeout by Grigonis. Barbanovic. Here's Calathes. Has to force a 3, and it's off the mark. And George, do you wonder now, they're not getting any penetration?
Absolutely no good shooting position.
Do you bring Wilbekin in or Dorsey in to try and get some penetration?
Well, I think if there's a time to go small ball, to go something drastic, I think this time has come right now.
Here's Grant, lines up a 3, and that's just short.
Because we got 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play, and it's a double-digit lead.
I love this from Hayes Davis, runs the floor, gets to the halo.
But immediately surrounded by 3 Panathinaikos defenders.
Yeah, really good transition defense, right? Panathinaikos get back in their numbers. And there's another way you try to generate points. Can you get something in transition? And Panathinaikos has been very good in their rotations, getting back defensively.
That's been a mantra every coach that I ever played for. Try to look for the easy baskets. You know, that's something on transition or the fast break. Just don't work for it for 20 seconds each possession down. 9-0 scoring run here for Panathinaikos.
Good flash to the high post. Sestina makes the mid-range jump shot. Could this be the start of something to come?
Well, Sestina is having a great game. He's up to double digits, 10 points, and he's missed only 1 3-pointer.
Grant keeps the ball in his hands, uses the screen of Antetokounmpo. Grant, his jump shot from the free throw line off the mark, and now a chance maybe for Fenerbahce with numbers. Calathes kicks. Oh, Sestina, his shot's off the mark. You can see how Calathes was admitting the foul, no call. Well, George, interesting moment because Calathes sticks his hand up when he committed the foul on Sestina, no call. And instead, we get a foul here on Calathes.
Well, I think that's out of frustration for Nick Calathes as he clearly attacks Dino Mitoglu, and he was almost looking at the referees to make the call.
I don't think there's any doubt it's a foul.
Yeah. And that's Sharas pleading his case there on that situation with Calathes that you just mentioned.
Yeah, that's right. So Grant has run the point here for Panathinaikos.
I'll tell you what, Liam, I think that the most dangerous thing for Panathinaikos is start to protect their lead. Oh, what an alley-oop action.
Just off the mark. What great defense from Grant. Barbanovic can't convert.
That was a bit of a luck there for Panathinaikos to end up like that.
Well, they've now got 3 ball handlers on the floor with Nunn, Grant, and Slukas. And Kendrick, Nunn's shot rims out.
But Panathinaikos has to stay aggressive, and the foul is on Barbanovic. I thought it was Antetokounmpo reaching over.
Inside position, yeah. See if we can see it again on instant replay.
Perhaps he used both of his hands.
Oh, right, you can see he's grabbing him there,
Yeah, the hold. That's a great call by the referees. And the frustration by Barbanovic as he punches the post.
You just wonder who Jesse Chavicius could turn to on his bench to bring in and try to generate a spark, try to get something going offensively. Wilbekin's come in. Look at Lessort, really showing his numbers, trying to get a touch. Finally gets it from Slukas. Draws a double team. What great vision by Slukas as he finds Papapetru. So the double team goes to Lessort, who passes out to Slukas. And Slukas, who's 3rd all-time in assists in EuroLeague history. Great pass to Papapetru.
It's a double-digit lead again for Panathinaikos, 62-52.
Plenty of time for Fenerbahce to get back in this game. They're just laboring. They can't find any fluidity. Here's Wilbekin now on the bounce. As pass to Hayes Davis is off the mark.
Liam, the average for the season in scoring for Fenerbahce is 84.8 points, almost 85 points. Right now, they're absolutely stuck at around 50 for the longest time. That's a very similar situation to the round 26 when they were held to only 52 points.
The tempo right now suits Panathinaikos. They're in no hurry. Tough pass inside to Lessort. He is bottled up by yellow jerseys, and a good steal by Calathes. Some physical play inside, that's for sure.
That's a tough play by Nick there against Lessort, who's one of the strongest guys in the competition. He just wrestles the ball away from him. Calathes is a hard-nosed player, Liam. He's been around forever. 35 years old, as the foul is called on Petru.
Calathes in his 12th EuroLeague season. He's 10th in games played. Goodrich. Can they get any penetration? They're struggling. Here's Calathes. Hayes Davis. They're just trying to manufacture things, George. They're out of their sets. Goodrich with an offensive rebound. He can't convert. There's a lid on the basket right now for Fenerbahce, but George, they're just not helping themselves with their ball movement.
They're laboring. I thought you used a great word to describe the situation there for Fenerbahce. And look at the stats there for Nick Calathes. He's got 9 rebounds, his season high is 10, and his career high is 13. So what a rebounding game here for Nick Calathes. There we see him.
Yeah, he's a guy who does everything for you. He's had a triple-double before. Of course, we saw that earlier this year with Cody Miller-McIntyre for Baskonia with a triple-double. First time since Calathes did it. He put Lessort on the line.
Oh, I thought he brought his heart out today here, Nick Calathes, after starting the game in a difficult way. You know, he's been playing some tough basketball here down the stretch in the second half. Just nothing's going right for his team.
Missed both free throws, but Grant picks up the loose ball. Lessort close to a double-double. He's got 9 rebounds, 14 points.
And that was Scotty Wilbekin stepping out of line, out of bounds there with the hustle.
We hit the midway mark of the 4th and final quarter, and there's still time for Fenerbahce to get in this. There's an eternity in basketball terms.
Oh, absolutely agree. But if you look at the body language of the Fenerbahce players,
you're right about that.
I'm starting to see the shoulders are going down, the heads. You know, I don't like the physique right now that Fenerbahce players are shown there on the floor.
Well, Deshaun Pierre, who's yet to score, only played 9 minutes. Dorsey, just 10 minutes. Here's Slukas. Kicks. Petru. Great understanding between the two Greek guards. The shot just rims out. Now, Fener, can you push the ball down the floor and try and get something? A little secondary break action.
I think you got to find a way for Nigel Hayes Davis to get in the scoring situation. Just give it to him.
Goodrich stripped from Nunn. Nunn, Euro steps and converts off the window, and one to come. Panathinaikos, it all starts with the defense for them, and now the inquest is starting between the players of Fenerbahce as they look to each other. You're right, George, the body language isn't good. They've got to try and dig deep into the reserves of character to find something as they go back in a hole. They came back from 12-0 down at the timeout. They're down 12 once again, 64-52.
Opposite. Marco. Nate.
That is a staggering difference. They're 79-41. I mean, I'm not sure if I remember in my career as a player or a commentator a situation where a team would have a chance to win. They are, I mean, if you look at it, round 26, I mean, it's like a carbon copy of that situation. 74-63 win in Athens for Panathinaikos. And I said it before, Fenerbahce was able to score only 42 points in 3 quarters. Here's Kendrick Nunn in his stake after the steal. He's going full court and getting fouled here on the shooting hand by Nick Calathes. This is a soul-searching moment here for Fenerbahce. Wow. Groundhog Day, yeah. That was, well, I hope he likes what he sees, you know. We got a little bit of a late start for the fans to get in the arena, but it's been spectacular ever since, Liam.
Lost in translation from Bill Murray as well. Of course, Jasikaevich is trying to find something to communicate to his players. And they come away with a 3 here.
It wasn't a pretty play there, a bit of a luck there on the bounce that the ball found its way in the hands of Marko Guduric, who
good
scored
defense
a 3-pointer.
by Grant, just couldn't come up with a steal. Now, do they, Fenerbahce, change the complexion defensively as they look to trap? None. Lessort steps through and finishes.
This is exactly how you beat the trap, Liam. You go inside, you make the extra pass, and the easy finish here for Mathias Lessort. Bam! For the big man.
Nunn splits the double team. Guduric a clean look at a 3. That's just short. And the Panathinaikos fans, George, really finding their voice in this arena. They know their team is close to capping this one off.
And they are not rushing anything. This is a good patience. They go inside to Lessort.
No, he traveled and definitely dragged his pivot foot there.
He got just a little bit off balance. I thought that was a perfect situation for him. He posted up deep here on Hayes Davis. You see it. He's inside of the box. I just lost his balance there on the pivot.
Well, we'll see if Fenerbahce go back to that trapping defense here after this possession.
30 minutes played there for Mathias Lessort.
Remember, tomorrow a rest day for the players. Wilbekin's 3. That won't fall. Good steal by Hayes Davis.
You know, when I play with fire, with Fenerbahce, you want to close the game.
Chandler, old school up the window. That won't go as he competes for his miss.
I would like to see the shooting chart for the second half.
Yeah,
there
well,
for
I can tell you this, George. Fenerbahce are 9 of 32 from behind the arc. And Calathes is a little bit annoyed.
He's just losing his nerve here, Nick Calathes. A tough game for him. You know, at 35 years of age, you know, he's really taking it hard. The way that things have turned out there in the second half. You know, he's a great sport, great champion.
Yes, he is. A great refereeing here, too. The referee comes over to calm him down. So it's a good battle here with Papapetru and Sandler.
And right there.
Well, Calathes might have something to pay there. He obviously wasn't happy with the reaction of Papapetru. He's trying to even a score.
That's just pretty dangerous there for Nick Calathes, because Papapetru did not have ball in his hands. You know, the contact was intentional. I think this is something that the referee is going to have to deal with.
Well, they've called an unsportsmanlike foul. For Calathes. That's his 3rd personal. And the referees are going to review this.
And we got Mathias Lessort, the double-double, Liam. That's led my mind as 16 points and 10 rebounds.
I was confident you were going to pick up on that because you're a member of the Big Man Union. Do you have to pay membership fees every year as the referees are reviewing what happened here with Calathes?
The hit is in the torso. The chest is not in the face. But anyway, for me,
we don't hear the referee, so we can talk. I think this is a tough moment here. I mean,
Can you repeat this?
This is absolutely 100% sure and clear. This is an act of frustration. The ball is not there, and Nick Calathes just comes flying in. I mean, this is almost a foul that can get you out of the game if you ask me.
Well, they know each other, of course, from national team duty. They both play for Greece. So they'll have competed against each other in practice, no doubt.
I'll tell you what, Nick Calathes is lucky that he's not been thrown out of the game.
Definitely an unsportsmanlike foul. And again, so it is his third personal, his first unsportsmanlike.
You know, 5 points, 4 assists, and 9 rebounds for Nick Calathes, and he's played some heavy minutes, 31 minutes of play. You know, he's given it all.
So Papa Petru goes to the line for 2 free throws, and then, of course, Panathinaikos will keep possession. George, you know, lots of talking points, but the defense of Panathinaikos has been terrific all game.
They just clamped it up, closed it. There was a lid on the basket, as you mentioned, for Fenerbahce. But I thought that just frustration just really seeped in about the 5-minute mark into their body language, and there was just absolutely no way to find a spark, Liam. Nobody coming off the bench or changing things around. This did not work well here for Fenerbahce in the second half.
So Fener go back into that trapping defense. Panathinaikos trying to pass out of it into the hands of Slukas. Wants a high ball screen. Slukas, that shot just rimmed out. And Lessort gets called for a foul. Well, this is what you don't want to do, George. If you're Panathinaikos, you don't want to commit fouls to stop the clock.
Okay, but how do you keep off Mathias Lessort off the glass, Liam? I mean, it's a lot easier said here from the commentator's position. He's number 3 offensive rebounder in the competition. He's a madman possessed when the shot is taken. I mean, he's starting his engines.
It's all instinct, isn't it? Yeah, for sure. Well, the foul goes against Senatet Sandler, George, to my surprise. So Lessort goes to the line. I thought that was on Lessort, but
no, but it's
been wrong before.
You know, one interesting thing is that the stats crew has taken the rebound off Mathias Lessort, so he does not have double-double right now. He's got 17 and 9, actually.
Well, great defense. Look at the defense of Jerian Grant. His team are up 15, and he throws his body on the floor here to get in the passing lane and tip this pass out of bounds.
Yeah, Jerian Grant averages 1.5 steals per game in the competition.
He's not had a minus PER this season. So Wilbekin in the corner. 3 on the way. It just won't fall. And the three-point shooting woes continue. Fenerbahce 9 of 32 from behind the arc.
Wow. Did you say you live and die by the outside
we talked
shot?
about that in our opening comments, right?
You said that, Chief.
Thanks for giving me some credit there, big fella. We're the guards who got to get the ball to you.
Well, I think that Panathinaikos is just going to try to get this one home as quick as possible. 15-point lead, the largest of the game.
Well, Wilbekin was definitely fouled there. No call.
But look at that. Serta Chandler gets the offensive rebound. He's as close to the basket as you can get, and he just cannot complete a play. This is just like cancer. It spreads, Liam. You start missing shots. You know, it started like from, I would say, 8 minutes, 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and just a spread.
It gets contagious, does it? And similarly, when you're hot, you know, that kind of spreads out through a team as well. Team's in rhythm. Sandler now steps to the line.
What a dismal offensive production there for Fenerbahce.
He's in his 7th EuroLeague season. Sandler, he won it back in 2021 with Anadolu Efes.
Well, Liam, sorry to say, there goes my label of an expert, because I predicted Fenerbahce to having a great chance to win it.
Yeah.
With coming with the least pressure of all the
participants. They were 6th after the regular season, right? They were 6th.
And hot in the playoffs, playing some great basketball, tactical basketball, because it was low-scoring affairs as well there with Monaco.
It was. They won the first game in that series, and then they won the 5th game in that series as well. Both of those games in Monaco. So Grant, so composed, in no hurry. Clock very much the ally of Panathinaikos. Kick to the corner, and Nunn knocks it down. The largest lead of the night for Panathinaikos, 16. And so Panathinaikos fans can start to dream, George. The 6-time champions, last time they were in the Final Four was in 2012.
Wow.
The last time they were in the finals, 2011 in Barcelona when they won it. Their championships started in '96. They were the first team from Greece to win the European Championships. They beat Barca in Paris. 2000, they beat Maccabi in Thessaloniki. 2002, they beat Bologna in Bologna. 07, they beat CSKA at home. 09, they beat CSKA right here in Berlin. And 2011, they beat Maccabi in Barcelona. They're going to get a chance to go to the finals and win their 7th title. The shot clock runs down, and nobody's happier than Coach Ergen Ataman.
Oh, he's absolutely fired up, and just shows you how much chemistry he has found with his players. But let's talk about Fenerbahce. This very possibly will be the lowest scoring production in the season. Before that, it was 63 points that they scored in Athens. We are at 57 with 54 seconds to play in the game. This is not a good game to pick your lowest scoring production.
Well, Sestina, his shot short from the arc. And now Nunn just walks it across the timeline. You can hear the drums from Athens. You can hear the voices of the Athenian fans. They call the club Panathinaikos 6-starred. They've got a chance to add a 7th star to that. Just seconds away from advancing to the finals here in Berlin. Nigel Hayes-Davis' shot is short, and that epitomizes what's been a difficult offensive night for Fenerbahce.
A very tough night, very tough second half. I thought they played some good basketball there in the first 20 minutes of the game, but it's been all downhill there ever since last 15 minutes especially.
Yeah, they've scored only 7 points in this quarter.
Wow.
And so the coaches who've both been to the Final Four 5 times meet at midcourt. And on the occasion, the first time that these two storied clubs have ever met on the Final Four stage, the win goes to Panathinaikos. And so Coach Jesse Calathes, in his 5th EuroLeague Final Four as a coach, will have to wait another chance to try to lift the title as a coach. Jesse Calathes, who took over in December, can't get his team to the finals here. Stay with us, fans, as we wrap this one up. And remember, there is another semifinal to come, as Real Madrid will play against Olympiacos in our 2nd semi. Players meeting at midcourt. And George, it's that 4th quarter, just 7 points for Fenerbahce. They couldn't find anything offensively.
And 27 points less than their season average. I mean, it just really shows what a difficult game that Fenerbahce had here in Berlin today.
You wonder, too, the late start, George. You know, obviously both teams had to cope with it. Fenerbahce go down 12-0, but all credit to them. They clawed themselves back in it. They erased the deficit. But the 4th quarter, they just ran out of any kind of momentum. You have to tip your hat to the defense of Panathinaikos as they come over and pay tribute to their fans. Of course, the ultras known as Gate 13 in Iwaka, many of them here. What a great atmosphere for fans and players alike.
And a theoretical question, do you think they'll be ready on Sunday, Liam?
Oh, they'll be ready, no doubt about it.
And the championship game, I just cannot imagine this place being full of green.
Well, here's your final score in tonight's first semifinals. Panathinaikos of Athens 73, Fenerbahce of Istanbul 57 in the 24th edition of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Well, fans, stay with us as we wrap this one up with some interviews and some statistics. Remember, more basketball to come as Real Madrid look to defend their title against Olympiacos, who look to win their 4th EuroLeague crown. There's some tired bodies out here for a Panathinaikos team, George, who were very physical defensively, taking Fenerbahce out of a lot of their tendencies.
It was a big tactical battle, but defense prevailed at the end. You know, we call it, is it going to be offense or defense?
Yeah.
It was a defense of Panathinaikos, the way that they play a concentrated defensive effort. They absolutely stayed focused. Very few turnovers, and the focus. That was the difference.
Well, we're going to take a look at tonight's magic moment, one of the highlights of our first game. Sponsored by Motorola, the Motorola magic moment from the winning team, Panathinaikos. None other than this man here, 26. That's the number 26 freight train coming right down the tracks as he sends it down. Mathias Lessort had 17 points, and he picked up that extra rebound for the double-double. 17 points and 10 rebounds. Tonight's Motorola magic moment. Well, George, we'll take a look at some game stats, and what do you see?
You live and die by the three-point shot, as you said in the pregame, only 26%, 9 of 35, so that makes 26 misses there for the Turkish side. Turnovers 17 to 15, that's quite a high number there on both sides, yeah. And on the rebounds, it's a dominance there for Panathinaikos, 37 to 29, so